Welcome back to another episode of Studio B Sessions with me, Bindra, the owner of Bindra Productions here in Orlando, Florida. And I've got Mario again on the producer table. How are you doing today, Mario?
All good. Thank you guys for coming one more time.
And obviously our guest today, Jason Cannon, a veteran industry photographer. You've been doing this for more than 30 years.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And I'm so excited to have you. So thank you for coming.
You're dating me, man. I was like, this is like, I'm not a fossil over here, but I feel like it sometimes. No, I still have the same energy. I just, I wear out a little faster nowadays, right? And need a little more recovery.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I love what you do. I love the photos that you take. It's just fun having you here because I've always, liked what you're doing and wanted to find ways for us to partner and collaborate. Plus, video and photo kind of go hand in hand, even though what you do is different. What I do is different, but to clients, photo, video is the same thing. I had this happen recently, where somebody wanted event videography, but then they're like, no, we need the same vendor to do photo and video. And somebody like me, where my company's, mastered in video, it doesn't make sense to also take on photo, but at the same time, I don't want to lose a client, a great video opportunity. That's right. And that's where you and I can come in, where it's like, hey, Jason, here's a partnership. Like, do you want to do the photo section of this video, right? Or whatever. And then in just general, being at chamber events, being able to, partner together or represent our services, it's just fun. I think photo and video kind of go together. Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And we're both visual storytellers. Mm-hmm. It's a different medium or format, but honestly, we need both.
Yeah.
To really tell the whole story. A photo can be powerful in a snapshot type of thing, but then the video comes in and just brings it all. Yeah. It appeals to all those senses and just brings it all together. And that photo's like boom. And then the video just, right?
Exactly. The way I like to describe is like, you're freezing the action. You're capturing the moment, what happened in that action. Versus I'm capturing the action, right? While you're freezing the action. Similar, but different. And at the same time, you need both to convey the message, right?
Yeah. There's a flow.
Exactly, right?
There's a real flow to it.
So tell me about it. Like, how did you, obviously you've been doing this a long time. I love the name of the company, Canonfire Photography.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool. Now, does that mean, are you limited to just Canon cameras? Or
absolutely. So this goes all the way back to when I was a kid. And when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, right here, Orlando, I'm a native. My dad was a hobby photographer, and he had this camera called the Canon AE1 program. It was the first autofocus SLR type camera that existed.
Wow.
So he had this growing up. He's always taking pictures of our family, and then he'd put them up on the wall, and it'd be landscapes, and it'd be pictures of me and my brother at a creek or something, and they were just beautiful. So by the time I get to be in middle school, I get my first camera. It's a underwater, this is film days, not digital stuff, right? It's a underwater compact camera, so we could go to the beach and surf and fish and all this, and I'm just constantly getting pictures of us in action, me and my friends and family, and you have 24 or 36 exposures in that camera, and that's it. And you don't see them, oh, look at this. No, you're like shooting it, and then you send them off, and you get them back in a week, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's kind of coming back. What's crazy is like it's full circle. Yes, I love digital. I love the ability to review yourself. You're not limited to certain exposures. Yeah. However, there was an art to it.
Yes.
Because, you're limited. You only have this many shots or whatever, right? You have to make everyone count. And that's why I think there's a trend, and I don't know if you notice that. It may not work professionally, but at least for art and more as a hobby, people are now buying, film rolls, going back to those type of cameras,
totally.
Which is crazy to think about, that we've come a full circle. We went almost where it's like, oh, Kodak is going to go out of business or whatever because nobody wants film. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's such a neat thing to own a film camera.
But we're in a total extreme opposite of where it's headed. Like, you've got this on one side, on the other side is AI.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, oh, I just text a photographer friend a picture of a bad AI headshot, and those are like taking off right now.
Yeah.
And I zoomed in on it, and there's something in the eyeglasses that totally doesn't exist anywhere in the picture, in this AI picture.
Yeah,
it's like, that's the anti-art. And AI, we'll have use for it. We all do. you know, but when you've completely replaced a picture or a video and it's completely AI,
Yeah, at that point, it's like, what?
there's no artistry at all in
Yeah.
it. And
'Cause I
that's
get
what
that-
we really are as visual artists. And it's like, that just strips it of all of that. You know?
Exactly. You have to find the right angle because I feel like what makes a good, for example, headshots. Talking about it is, you see the person's side, you pick the angle, you pick the pose or whatever, or you make
Yeah.
them do a few. So you pick them at their best moment.
Yeah.
How does the AI know? All AI is doing, the ones I've seen, at least the apps, you just take a photo with your phone, right? You give it to it, and then it'll just put you in various settings for a headshot. And I'm like, but it didn't know what angle is best for you, what how your chin should be, what the lighting should be. It's just picking from a thing of data that it was trained on. That's not, I don't know, specific to you.
Right.
And I feel like I don't think AI could ever replace a human in that. Now, yes, could it help you edit them better? Maybe, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't think it can replace what you do, as in like in the moment with the
Right.
client, making sure you get their best possible, photo. I don't know how AI could be present there
No.
in that moment. Yeah.
And backing up again, it's like we talk about where it's at now and where it was. Like you were
Yeah.
just saying, it's kind of these full circle type of things. And it's like again, when you have film,
Yeah.
you got to really focus on getting the lighting right, and every single detail you've got to learn. It forces you to learn it the real way. There's no shortcuts. There's no Photoshop. There's no any of it. Right? You're learning it all the right way because we're two things. We're professionals and we're artists. And before I was a professional, I was an artist who trained myself and had formal training. And then I became a professional. And I think the shortcuts in now today's world are so much about, well, it's AI or I train myself or I go to YouTube or whatever, but it will never replace the second part of that professionalism you and I bring.
Exactly.
Always
'cause-
appreciated that about you.
Oh,
The
well, thank you.
professionalism is
Yeah.
the top with Bindra.
Yeah,
you know?
well, thank you. And it's the same with you because, like I said, every time we're hanging out, I'm like, that's what you want. You're not there to just capture, like I said, the moments, which is the big part. But then it also matters is like, how you present yourself,
Yeah.
how you are not in the way. That can be a big thing at a lot of events. Like I've never had an issue where we're filming and you're doing photography where either one is in the way of the
No.
other, and it's just incredible to work with, like you said, professionals. And that's what happens when you understand what the other's role is, and then you collaborate, right? At the end of the day, I've seen some, social media things where the photographer's taking the view of the videographer, or the opposite, where the videographer's in front of the key moment, let's say at a wedding or something,
Right.
and it's like you're ruining each other's work.
Yeah.
There's enough room to back away a little bit, and everyone gets what they need.
Totally.
And that's where the communication part comes in, right? Being able to communicate with everyone and being able to work together. And I think this is why we're again, it circles back why a lot of people now prefer to hire video and photo together because they don't
Yes.
want to deal with that. They're like, hey, if you know somebody who's gonna come together,
That's right.
then you know how to work with each other, right?
Yeah.
Because last thing they want is their their important moment to be missed just because the photographer and videographer
Yes.
couldn't communicate. You know?
I truly do. When I'm with a younger videographer at a wedding or an event, a younger photographer as well. You've probably seen me do this. With the Observer, our friends
Yeah.
at the Observer. I love the Observer. I love all the staff. And sometimes they'll have an editor or photographer who changes out, and I always want to come alongside, usually a younger person,
Yeah.
and just help because I really call it a dance. I mean, it's a dance
Yeah.
for us with photography and video. We need to be aware of each other so that we help each other
Yeah.
get the shots that we need. I'm even going, oh, come on, wait for video, hold on, wait
Yeah.
for photo, hold on. So we make sure that we're taking care of it because it's the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And coming back to it again, having been born with a name like Jason Cannon,
Yeah.
I think it was just in your blood.
Had to be.
Yeah, it had to be.
I've sold so many of their cameras, I got no commission. It's like, what's the problem here?
Exactly. I'm like, it'd be so funny if one day, I mean, Canon makes great, especially for photography
Yeah.
cameras. But I'm like, imagine one day, like they stop making cameras or whatever. It'd be so weird, like if you had to switch brands and come up with like a Fuji or something. Be like, what?
I get the question so much, it's not even funny. I'll bet you use Canon cameras. Yes,
yeah.
totally. But I'm the towel, not the camera. I mean, my
Exactly.
last name, right? And that fire in the last name,
Yeah.
people comment about that. And it's like, it really fits my personality because I'm just so high energy and so passionate and just so, I'm intense in a good way, right?
Yeah.
I love what I get to do.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the whole point of it, right? When it's your passion, When you're passionate about it and you love it, then it's no longer work.
Yeah.
Right. And when it's no longer work, you start to enjoy life. You like to enjoy, doing what you're doing. And I don't know, it just makes life, fun. And then
Totally.
also it makes your client kind of see that energy,
Yes.
and they love that energy too, because
Oh, yeah.
they don't want to be around somebody who's sulking or whatever, not having a good
Right.
time, because they'll come in our work, they'll reflect in our work, because their emotions show. And so that's amazing. Now, obviously, you've been doing this a long time. Like you say, you thanks to your dad, you fell in love. When did it become like, oh, you're getting paid to do this, right? Where did that transition happen?
Well, in college, I went to the University of Florida to go Gators. Yeah. So I'm a Gator. I'm a third generation Gator. So it's like my grandfather was there, and even my brother went. I mean, we're all Gators.
Yeah.
So I start there, and I majored at first in architecture. Sorry, not architecture. That's what it was, though. That's what we call it. Yeah. As I started in architecture, and I get there and I see all these college kids like camping out in the architecture school in their sleeping bags. I'm like, what is going on here? They're like, oh, this is how it goes. We got overnighters, we got deadlines, and all this. And I'm like, I don't know about this. So I wasn't too sure about it. And again, you go back to the passion. It's like, was that really stirring me? Because in high school, I was taking all those pictures. I still love taking pictures. And I decided to change my major, and I was like, oh, I just love sports. I love taking pictures. So I'll go work with the alligator. Oh, I love journalism. Let's go do it. And I switched and changed my major to journalism and covered the Gators at the different sporting events and media guides and the alligator, the school paper. Again, developing your own black and white film. I mean, we're doing it all. Yeah. And then did an internship with a magazine here in Winter Park. Wow. Magazine publisher in Winter Park. I literally lived out of college, my first job, right off Park Avenue, World Publications, editor with Sport Fishing Magazine, traveling the world fishing and helping fishing resorts and just writing and photographing, just enjoying that. And again, that was my first paid, but I'd had an unpaid internship. So again, this is an important message that I share with people who are in college is don't ever underestimate the power of an internship if you can get one in the field, and especially in a company you're interested in. Mm-hmm. So it was an unpaid internship, my last semester of college, and I applied to several other magazines that I really wanted to get and didn't get it. And I got this one, and I was like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. And I'm pushing papers, and they gave me some fun things to do as well. Yeah. And then they're like, it's over. And they're like, sorry, we don't have a position right now, but we really think the world of you is going to pop up. And they meant it. Yeah. It was about budget years and all kind of things. So I moved back in with my parents. I'm waiting for that job. I moved back in with my parents. I'm mowing yards again, like my business, like I had in high school, all that. I'm mowing yards. I'm like waiting it out. 6 months later, get the call, got the job. Right?
Look at that.
Yeah. So my first career job came because I was at the University of Florida, so it was Gators that hired me, alums, and because I took that unpaid internship. And I had the big picture and was like,
and you were patient. You waited.
I waited for it. And then I did what I had to do. That kind of grit that all of us as business owners understand is like, man, if you ever want to own your own business, you've got to have the grit to go, man, this is going to be hard and it could take a long time. But I'm got my eyes set on this and I really want it. And it turned into an 8-year career.
Yeah, look at that. And that's the key, because as business owners, like you said, we do a lot more than just photography and video. And that's why you need a certain level of grit. And sure, like you said, you went to university. I went to, I have a degree, but at the end of the day, you can learn so much from an internship. I think what you learn in 4 years in college, probably in 3 months, because when you're with somebody like you, let's say somebody's interning with you, I feel like they're gonna learn from real world experience, what to do, what not to do, how to interact with clients, how to budget, what to charge, why to charge that, things that are usually gate kept. And I feel like that's essentially what can take years to overcome. Versus an internship, especially with somebody talented or a really good company, can just change your game. Because in 3-4 months, even you come out and you're like, oh, you're telling me I can go, do this or that or whatever. Versus if you didn't do that internship or you went somewhere where there wasn't that much education, then you go, what now, right? Yeah. So that's the difference between you going, oh, I gotta go do something else, because so many people who graduate from Full Sail don't end up doing what they graduated from. And it's not because they didn't want to, it's because they didn't come out with the right skill set, essentially, right? Which is they came out with the skill set of photography
it's not
and video.
talent.
Yeah,
Right? It's not talent. They're talented artists, talented videographers, talented photographers.
Yeah,
That's not the issue.
it's
you know?
it's how to find clients,
Yeah.
then how to keep them, how to make them repeat clients, right? It's that business knowledge that usually I don't think is taught in school. You can only learn from real world experience, either by meeting other, networking with other professionals, or like you said, interning with someone who knows what they're doing.
Oh, totally.
And I think that's a game changer. And I hate that word, but it truly is. If you're somebody young, you're starting out, and all you got to do is just hang around the people who are doing what you want to do.
Right.
And I feel like you will automatically learn as long as you show initiative.
So true.
Yeah, because I don't care how busy we are on a shoot. If somebody asks me a question, we at least on video side where headsets, I don't care how dumb the question is. I will answer it. Like I get it. Like you may not know how to set up a stand. You will think, oh, it's very basic. But I'm like, no, it's okay. Press that, hold that knob, right? Like set it up. I don't mind showing anyone anything. Because at the end of the day, I know where I was at one point, right? I didn't know how to do that.
You and I have talked about this when we've met and talked about, and I've asked you just how your company is developed, and it's the things you've been saying. This is what you've told me, and it's the same for me. If a younger person comes to me and is like, how do I make it in photography? And I still have college ahead of me. And I'd be like, don't go to photography school. Yeah. Go to business school.
Exactly.
Or go learn sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you can learn photography from you. You got
I can
it.
teach that. Yeah,
it's the business,
and they usually already have the eye and the
skills.
passion for it, even in high school or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and with cell phones, we're all photographers, but the people who even love it more, well, they've been taking pictures with their cell phone. So it's never the issue. Never. It's always, well, you got to have the business acumen, and I really wish I could do it over, but all that makes me more hungry to go. Well, I can't do it over, so let's go. Let's learn it, and then let's help people along the way.
Exactly. So how did you, obviously, how did you get involved with the chamber? That's where we met. So at West Orange Chamber of Commerce. Shout out to Stephen Lewis, who was here on the last season of the podcast. So that's the chamber that we met at. How did you get involved? Why did you decide to get involved? And we'll go to the benefit of it after.
Oh, of course. Well, I actually moved away from Orlando because I've lived here all of my life, and I'm like, I want to live by the beach just for once, And at that time, didn't have the wife and kids, and I was engaged at the time that it came to me, right? And so I go to my wife, Kara, and I'm like, I want to move to St. Pete. She's like, oh, really? Yes,
so you didn't move that far.
St. Pete. Right. So we didn't go that far. We went over to St. Pete. I mean, still got friends, clients, all close, right? But opened a cottage studio there and just loved it. But then we had children. It's like, got to go back home. Yeah. And then I'm thinking, what side of town would I love to live on? Because I don't want to go back to the southeast. Don't want to go to the east. I lived over there, Winter Park. I've already lived there. So I've heard so much awesome stuff about West Orange. Yeah. And then we settled in Winter Garden. We went and just drove around and like, so beautiful out here. And just feels like a small town feel. It feels like community, real community. Yeah. And then for the chamber, it's like as soon as I moved, I was like, I've got to find business community. And I've been a part of different chambers here and there, I don't want to talk down about any of them, but just different ones that just they weren't really the fit for me, But immediately I met with Joe Allery, Allery Design. Yeah. I was given his name or passed on that name. And I was like, Joe Allery, okay, I've heard this, but I'm going to meet with him. I met with him for breakfast. And I just still to this day credit him. And he knows it because I'll tell him every time I see him practically. Yeah. I'm just so thankful that he sat down for breakfast and outlined what this chamber, what the West Orange Chamber is really about. And when he said, it's about businesses taking care of one another, looking out and learning for one another, and really just helping to build that local business community. And that's a nutshell. Where the whole breakfast was a conversation just like this. You could sit down and be like, Joe is the real deal. Yeah. And that was 2016. The next year, he's the chair of the board. And I know that wasn't just his flash in the pan. It was just good timing for me to become that official chamber photographer in the year that he was chair of the board, so I could be taking his picture every time he's up there speaking.
Exactly.
Right. But then through that year, I learned really quickly. I went to Chamber Connections, and they were like, you know, if you come to a ribbon cutting and take pictures at a ribbon cutting, that's a good way for you to get to know the business. And I just started serving. You know, it's like same way with you. It's like, especially when you're starting out, and I bring this up to younger people too. I'm like, you're not going to make money off everything. Yeah. But what you're going to do is get opportunities. And when you take an opportunity, I go to the ribbon cutting, market to table. It was their ribbon cutting. Oh man, what a great restaurant! What a great restaurant and a great group of people, and Chef Ryan and the whole staff's out there. They had a big dead fish, you know, holding it over their head. I mean, they just went off. It was really fun. Once I did that, I was in, because they saw I did the way I could just relate to people, my passion, excitement for them. I made an 8x10 for them to display in the restaurant with the ribbon cutting. And the chamber at that time, they're like, well, we don't have any, you know, official photographer responsibilities for you. Once I started serving, then I really had earned those opportunities. And it
they
just
had
kept
to see
going.
it, right?
Yeah.
And that's and again, go listen to the finale of the last season. I'm not going to repeat what we talked with Steven about, but that is the gist of the conversation. Was basically, look, there's lots of chambers. They have different needs, different desires. Go visit some of the chambers in your community, and this is for, I'm saying, somebody who's not a member or who's younger, and join the one where you feel like you belong, because at the end of the day, you have to give to get back.
Yes.
It's not a immediate, you know, return. Like you go, you join, and then all of a sudden business is coming to you.
Totally.
And I think that's why it worked for you, is because you not only got, you know, join, you were involved, right? You're like, hey, let me show you what I can do, and in the end, you got the reward back, right?
Totally. Yeah. And again, through that first year, it became where a lot of the timing of many of their events is around our businesses, right? It would be a before work or after work. That's one of the beauties of it, is that it works around our business a lot of times. So I'll bet I must have done nearly all of the events the first year or two. And I got, within a year, I got a plaque and an award for you know, just being a new business that's pitching in so much. I don't even remember, they don't have it anymore, that award. And then, of course, 2020, I'd only been in for less than 4 years, and I won the Small Business of the Year.
Yeah, I was there when you did that. Congratulations again,
Thank
right?
you.
Isn't it crazy too? Because again, I know what you do is incredible, but we, West Orange community, the amount of businesses we have is huge, and the caliber of businesses that we have. And then for you to win the Small Business of the Year, that must have felt amazing, right?
I mean, it is such an honor. And I was so surprised, because I was taking the pictures of that. And then they announced that, and Stina and Chris, they all knew that, like, I was going to be floored, you know? So it's like they actually switched the large business, which was SeaWorld, and Jim Forrester, who I've become so tight with now, you know, and they switched us. Usually they'll save the big one for last, but they switched because they knew I'd get emotional.
Yeah, and that was my first one, by the way. That was my first Big Orange Award.
I remember this,
and I was like, this is incredible, because, you know, that's what I liked, you know, as somebody, because like I said, I was here freelancing. I never got involved in the business community, and then when I left and became a company, right, I did, and then I was like, well, and obviously that was a mistake leaving Orlando, but just like you have to leave it. You have to leave to come back. So I left for a few years, and I was like, and obviously I joined the business community where I went, which was North Alabama, and I was like, I have to go back to Orlando. And I knew immediately I came back, because even though I was only gone for a few years, you know what happens is, right, you come back and you're like, you feel like a stranger, because, you know, all the connections have been lost or whatever. And I was like, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I joined the Chamber of Commerce. And it was just incredible to be at that first Big Orange Awards, where I saw you win, because, you know, as a video business, we are typically not recognized, right? When we do our good work, people don't notice it. That's the whole point. Because, you know, people notice our work, but they don't notice us in general, because we're behind the scenes people. Yes. So when you won, I was like, okay, this is the Chamber, because they're recognizing you for all the work you put in. And that actually was part of the reason why I was so happy that I joined that chamber and have stayed, you know, member for so many years now, 5 years almost. And I think that was it. I was like, oh, it felt good to me. So I'm saying, I didn't even know you that well back then. And I was like, this is so great that, you know, you're being recognized for the work that you're putting in. You know?
And I love that. What felt so special too is that that any small business, any of us, could get recognized at this organization in such an incredible way when we're not looking for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, really, we got this heart to serve, and we're building each other up, and we're really just building this community, and then boom, here comes this, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool that that's the way it happens.
And then you also know that means people are noticing. Again, I'm not all for awards.
Yeah.
Like I'll get clients, especially agencies, you know, they like to submit for, you know, Streamy Awards and what's the other one? The paid ones, Telly Awards. So
Telly
they'll
Awards,
like
yeah.
they'll email me. They're like, we won this Telly Award. I'm like, congratulations, awesome. You know, but then I'm like, okay, move on.
And Emmys.
Yeah, and whatever. It's like there's so many awards. So clients sometimes will, you know, because you have to pay to submit.
Of
Unlike
course.
the Best Orange ones, that's
Yeah.
something. This is a genuine award.
Right.
Unlike these other ones, I'm like you pay and you know usually you win. I don't know. Point is, I don't get that excited. But then I'm like, but you know, when you're putting in the work, you know, in an award where it's not a pay to win type of thing, you have to be,
Totally.
you know, nominated. You have to win,
Yeah.
and then there is none of this other stuff involved. You know, I don't know. I feel like it's not important, I'm sure, to you, but it was good to get recognized.
Yeah.
Because you had put in the work, you deserved it, and it's just good to, I guess, see that you were noticed, right?
Yes, totally. And then again, after that, it's not like it gets to my head. It fuels me.
Yeah.
It fuels me to serve more people. And the business that won this past year, Kelly's
Yeah.
Ice Cream. I sat down with our friend Kevin Leese,
Yeah.
you know, and it was last summer. And I sat down with him and I said, "You guys are going to win this year."
Yeah.
He'll
We had a
tell
feeling
you.
too.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, "You guys are going to win this year." And the reason is because I could see what they're doing. They would
Yeah.
sponsor and they would pour into lots of events. You know,
They were involved.
They had a presence,
Yeah, exactly.
and it was just like they were all in. And that's what is the best part is to see when any of us go all in. And then, you know, there's rewards for that.
Yeah.
That's
And
silly.
to be real, they make delicious ice cream.
They
It's
do make
kind of
good
like
ice cream.
cheating
I
a
mean,
little
those,
bit.
Those flavors are definitely.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're so good.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And when we were filming, talk about the story, we were just discussing this with Kevin.
Yeah.
So we filmed all the videos, right? This year, actually, Mario helped me. So when we were filming Kelly, you know, obviously delicious ice. She's like,
Yeah.
"You want some?" And you know, we were busy because we were going business. So Mario
Take
and
the
I
time
were
you
like, "Yeah, no, it's all right, thank you." You know, obviously we love to, but no. And then as soon as we got back in the van, we were both looking.
We
at each other
regret it. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
not
We were like,
turn
"We
down Kelly's
should-
ice
should
It's
cream.
like,
got
what, did
some.
we just do that? Well, that was a huge mistake. So I came home
Never
at
turn
least
that down.
that evening. So I took my girls. I was like, okay, we're gonna go. I was like,
Yes.
why did I turn it down for free? So I took my girls to the Winter Park location.
Yeah.
Here we got some Kelly's ice cream, amazing ice cream.
Yeah.
And then I also like that they have these, you know, they're connected with Foxtail coffee, so it's a lot
Yeah.
easier to access in a lot of locations because they have scoop counters or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but that was a fun experience there where we turned down Kelly's
Oh
ice
gosh!
cream.
Do
You
not
know, and I
turn
was
down
like-
you guys. I mean, we can eat ice cream while we're recording. Come on, Kevin.
exactly.
Where are you? Where we need you, buddy?
But that was fun, and I loved recording them too. I don't think they were doing that for camera, but like we were filming, and then the scoop was this ginormous scoop, and I was like, if I put this on camera, they're winning because it's like, what?
Yeah.
This is what we eat. Yeah. No, like I said, cheating in a little way,
Yeah.
in a good way. I'm just saying they make just good ice cream, so it's very
Yes.
easy for them to get recognized.
Totally. Well, tagging on to what you're saying, though, you know, about the award and all that, but now back to the chamber and tying in Kelly's and all this is another thing I really love about a good chamber, this chamber,
Yeah.
is collaboration. You know, we do. It's like I partnered with Kelly's Ice Cream last year for several of their events, and Kevin and I would sit down and we'd come up with an idea like summer ice cream beach session, right? And it wasn't huge, but we were trying something new. But that led to their bringing back their Santa photo shoot where they would just have photos with Santa, come and get ice cream to each of their stores, and we did about maybe 3 or 4 stores, and it was just a hit with their customers.
Yeah.
So it's like I got to collaborate with them for an experience for their customers, and our photography was really powerful because of the fact that it's like kids with Santa.
Yeah.
Right? It's
And
like
you increase their loyalty for their customers. So, you know, it's like the perfect
oh, and then I got a
collaboration.
customer
Yeah.
out of it. I got a great customer out of
Look
it
at
because
that.
they're like, we want to get family pictures. We just had a baby. And then they call me and they want to do family pictures out
Yeah.
of it. So those kind of collaborations where it's a win-win-win all the way. And then you're just cheering each other on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just continuing to grow like crazy. And I'm still getting there
Yeah.
with y'all, you know, and it's like, it's just we're cheering each other on.
Yeah, no, and that's what I love about like Chamber and partnering, and they're very open to it. Like obviously, Steven was clear about what it would take for someone to go in, but the thing is they recognize like immediately. Initially I was just all in, networking and everything. So Julie was going to the events more than I was.
Yeah.
But literally within our second year there, I wouldn't think it was a full year yet. Second big Orange Awards, we were already partnering with a chamber.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's not that many chambers where you can go in, put in the time, put in the effort, but
Right.
get recognized, but then also become a partner for one of their biggest award
That's
shows,
right.
where you can go in and it kind of like for us too. I don't know how much. Where is that? Can you silence it,
I know.
Mario?
We're both.
Talk about no.
Mine was
Should've
going off
put
at
it
the same
silent.
time.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we still getting the same spam call?
So basically, coming back to what I was saying,
Yeah.
So it was great for us as a new. I'll take it. It was really good for us to partner and get recognized because not only now I don't know if and I've said this before. Don't expect, like I said, there is cost involved, and I wouldn't
right.
just go in partner with the chamber saying, "Oh, it'll just make us money right away," right?
That's right.
That's not the way we. You should approach it, and I did, and that's what I'm saying. The recognition immediately. Sure, we're doing great work, but we're traveling all over the country, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to let your community know like that. Hey, there's such a business here that is going all over the country, filming these big spots for these corporations. And Chamber is the best place to not only give back, but to also showcase what we're doing. And that was the perfect partnership for me, where I'm like, hey, we're just back in Orlando. We're trying to get involved. Let us just make a video for Big Orange Award. It's great for the chamber. They get to use that video to market that year's events, next year's event. But then also for us, it's like, hey, let's put Binder Productions on the map, right?
Yes, totally.
And that was such a great partnership. Yeah.
You're finding that sense of giving and serving the community again, and elevating the businesses in West Orange.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be every business in there. It doesn't have West Orange, specifically hyper local as the primary driver of their business, but it's important. It's an important part of our business because of the community of businesses and the people, right? And that gives us a sense of being grounded.
Yeah, exactly.
Where especially for you travel so much, but then you come back and you're home, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You walk into the room, we're bear hugging you, and it's like, man, he's home. They're back.
It feels, it goods. And then same thing, like just to go to the chamber to have a sense of community, right? Have a sense of other businesses. It's just good to check in. Hey, how's the business going? How's everything going? And I don't know. For me, it's important, from multiple angles, not only just giving back, working with other businesses, partnering, collaborating. Also, the legislative agenda that the chamber can fulfill for us on a business behalf. See, the thing is, a lot of people, and I get it. If you're starting out, you're just thinking about paying the bills, making enough money. But once you do go to the next level, you have to think as a business owner. There's much more that goes on, and the chamber is the perfect partner to kind of make sure that I'm being looked after as a business owner, that there's laws being passed, legislation being passed, that's making sure that it's still easier for us to do business. And I know that may not be something immediately. Some young people do that, and that's okay. But it's a lot easier to just pay some membership, get involved, and make sure that there's an organization that's speaking on behalf of you to make sure our interests are being put forth among in front of people that we probably don't have reach to, right?
Seriously.
So I don't know. I find that overall it's been great, and like I said, plus I get to meet people like you, and where we can find now ways to collaborate and partner with each other. Because like we were talking before we started, people expect me to do photo. Simple as that. That's just what it is.
Right.
And here's the business thing of it. I could just say no.
Yeah.
But that's bad business, because at the end of the day, they don't want to deal with two vendors, and they'll go to some other vendor happily, right? No, even if they want to work with me, it's just easier for a business to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot better for me to partner with somebody like you and go, hey, yeah, absolutely. Does
Same.
Bindra do
Yep.
both? Absolutely. And same thing for you. If you're like, hey, Canonfire does video, absolutely. I'm happy to put on your polo and go shoot a video for
Same.
you. Because at
Totally.
the end of the day, what matters is that we gain the trust of our clients, right?
That's right.
We provide them the service that they want, and it may not be, I don't know, that we want to do. Like, could I do a headshot? Probably. Could you make a video? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I
it just
had a
makes
meeting
it
like this
easier.
yesterday. I was actually at a virtual meeting being onboarded with a local destination management company. And of course, they're like, do you do drone? Do you video? Yes,
Yeah.
got you. We got you,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, I know who to call
Yeah.
if they're like, hey, we've got this set. We need it taken care of. Well, I'm jumping on the phone with you.
Exactly.
I mean, people ask that, then we know that we've got it covered. We just need to, be
just have
aware of it.
have a network, and that's where again Chamber can come in. Coming back to it, where we know each other, we have networked with each other, and I'd rather give it to somebody I know that I worked with alongside
right.
for many years than just some random stranger. Not that you shouldn't, but I'm just saying build your network, have your trustworthy people. And funny enough, literally before you came here, this wasn't even planned. My client was like, "Hey, can we do headshots?" I'm like, "Absolutely." We can do headshots, so that's what we're talking about. I'm like, why would I say no? Because at the end of the day, if I can help my client get quality service and I can make sure I pass on that funds to you than some random stranger, why wouldn't I?
Oh, totally.
It's total win-win for everyone,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So and I think that's where it is. Now, I do see a lot of photographers start with photo, then jump to video.
Right.
Have you thought about that? You yourself, I know
This
you
was-
obviously do photo. Are you
This
gonna
was
ever jump
part
into
of the
video?
conversation I had with them yesterday. Is talking to them about how it's good to have a team,
Mhm.
and even saying to them, it's like, we have partners and contractors and all this, but it's a trusted team and network of people that come with Canonfire photography, right? And I said, but I don't do a drone.
Yeah.
Personally, because by then we're having a great conversation. This was a great call. And so I said, it's funny people ask me that because I'm afraid in a practical way that my wife will testify of this, that I will probably break that equipment. I am way too ADHD and all this, right? So I'm not interested in it or passionate about it, first of all. Same with video. So then, and I'm like, I told them yesterday, I'm like, it's the same with video for myself. I'm like, I am in my sweet spot as a superpower, and then I've got my people. And I'm their people. And we work together where you've got a trusted brand and everyone sticks to their superpower instead of trying to do everything. Now, I'm not saying no one can do photo and video on their own. I'm saying for me, though, I feel like
it's debatable. I mean, yes,
that's hard.
It's
Video
hard.
is hard.
Yes. And it
to
depends
really
on the
get.
level of video that you're doing. Yes, could you make a social reel with your
Production video?
Yeah,
No
that's-
way.
yeah. So that's why I'm like, it depends also.
No
like,
way.
If you're, like, hey, let me do a quick reel. Absolutely, you could.
Yeah.
But
If it's
yeah,
for
it's a completely
social.
different skill set with what you do. You see just the amount of equipment in here and the van
Oh,
outside,
yeah.
and we're considered a small company.
course, of
It's so
course.
crazy. I'm like, I don't know anyone
And when
else.
people ask
Yeah.
that question,
Yeah.
do you do video too? I'm like, what are you asking? Like,
Yeah,
there's
what does
so
that
many
mean?
types
Yeah.
of video.
Yeah.
And this is for a luxury hotel chain type of thing and I'm just going, there's no way that you can say, oh yeah, sure, just to appease the person, right?
Exactly.
We just talked a few minutes ago about professionalism, and boy, professionalism is making our subjects feel confident and trust us as well as our clients.
Exactly.
So it's like, I want to go in trustworthy to say, oh, we can do video. We can do video.
Yeah, exactly. We can partner together and then do great video. And that's what it comes down to. And then I'm like, I'd rather stay in my lane and just have trusted partners.
Same.
And that was, my clients get the best. I think it's also, like you said,
totally.
giving them, being a trustworthy partner to them too, because they know if I'm saying yes to something, it's going to be done right.
Yeah.
It's going to be done by a professional. It's going to also be done by somebody who loves what they're doing. To me,
Yeah.
that makes it that little bit better, because you're going to give it your 100. You're not going to just go there, oh, it's another payday. You know what I mean? Like, money's
Totally.
important, but what you're doing and you loving that, I think, I don't know, it's important too. So, I mean, like I said, I get it. I'm all for photographers doing video and videographers doing photo, but within a limited scope. I don't think a person exists that could do both at a high level.
Not at a high level.
And I
if we
think
want the
yeah.
luxury market, if we want big,
Yeah.
if we want high volume, if we want the luxury market, if we want to work with the best, then working with the best means they're also working with the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
The best become the best, us
Yeah.
too, because of that.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
what I love is video, like you said, at least what I do, it can mean anything. So we have a client, where we're doing like a $50,000 video, right? That's a level of client. And then there's a client who's like a couple $1,000s is a lot of money. That's a level of client. That does not mean we're not going to give them both their 100, but the approach is going to be different. There's going to be a
course.
team of people here with the slew, hundreds of
Production
thousands of
is a
dollars
lot
of
scaled
equipment.
down, right?
Yeah, versus here it's not. It's maybe tens of thousands of equipment, dollars of equipment, not hundreds of thousands. So it's like a huge difference, even though we're still just making a video, right?
Yes.
And same thing, like you said, if it's something for socials, it may be a few $100s because all you're doing
That's
is
right.
a little video. So I think the word video can mean so much, but so does photography. It's one thing to do a small session, but it's another thing, I don't know, to do an event, right?
Totally.
The scale varies a lot in photography too.
And even event photography it's getting to the point where I truly want partnerships, which that doesn't give the partner a discount. The partner pays more because of the value that partner gets. I become a mouthpiece and I become a promoter of that event, our local events, right? And things like this, our community events. Whether it's one of the cities or towns out there, then I become a true partner of, I'm not just out there taking pictures.
Yeah.
If I'm out there and I even engage with people, I am helping to put a positive, spin, but really just a testimonial of the event, the organizers, all of it. I really pour my heart into that aspect. I love partnership, collaboration, those kind of things. And it's like businesses, in my opinion, need to pay more for that because you're getting someone who is not only committed to the craft, but committed to building that organization up and coming alongside to help. All right, how can I help promote? How can I help, on any of really this stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a game changer. It's not, in other words, I'm not a vendor. I'm a partner. And I use that language a lot because I justify my prices by delivering on that aspect.
And then you're not just thinking from, I got this much deliverables and I'm done. You're looking from a cohesive standpoint, right? What you need to do to execute on whatever their desires are, not just, hey, they want 20 photos, here's 20 photos and I'm done. It's a different approach when you're a partner because you're going with their best interest in mind. And I feel like people notice that. And that's when you get the repeat clientele. And that's what you need to succeed as a business.
And that's good to talk about on here, right? Because people, especially people, again, starting out or people struggling, and it's like, how do I really? It's like, well, how are you different as a photographer? I mean, honestly, I could go online. There's a lot of pretty pictures. Mine looks like this. Oh, that one's better than me. That one's better than me. Yeah. Well, I don't care to be the best in that because, there's a lot of good photographers. Yeah. But I want to be the best partner. I want to be the best professional. I want to be the best, that comes alongside the person I'm taking a picture of, the person I'm working for, and that whole community or that whole business environment that I'm in. And that is a completely different mindset than a lot of photographers take. And
That's
videographers
such a
do.
golden nugget right there because I feel like what you said right there is the key. You want to be the best partner, not the best photographer. Not that you're not a good photographer.
Right. No, but I'm saying
the thing
there's
is,
plenty that are.
there are plenty of starving artists out
Am
there.
I bidding
and
against them? And it's like, I got the same. Well, what separates them? Yeah. Well, I am the top rated this or I'm that. And I'm like, okay, but what does that do for them? They don't care what we're rated. They don't care what awards I've won. They don't care about any of that. What can you do for me? I'll tell you what I can do for you. I'm going to listen to you. Yeah. How can I help? What is your passion that you want out of this event? Big picture. Yeah.
And that matters. And that's the experience that people are, I think, they'll pay the top dollar for. Because, that's exactly what I recommend. Be their partner. Help them get to where they want to be. Don't listen because if you just, for example, like if I just started listening to my clients, the videos would be hilarious because clients don't know what they want, especially for video. They're like, hey, I want a 10 minutes. I've had this happen so much. I want a 10-minute social media video, and it's like nobody's gonna sit on social media for 10 minutes. They don't know that, right? So you have to come in as an expert and listen to them, and they're like, hey. By the way, the retention drops after 60, 90 seconds. We got to cut it down. Then we got to change the format or the platform or whatever because, you're trying to achieve this but you want to go to this platform, and they don't know, and that's okay. But if you didn't listen, you didn't ask the right questions, you're never going to get the right solution.
We need to know what result they want, not what product they want.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they don't know that. Like people will say, how much, like on the portrait side, how much for a session in digitals or whatever. It's like, okay, well, I get that you want that because you don't really know how to ask, you know, that then it's always how much for this, how much for that. Yeah. And it's like, but in reality, the result is going to be in the business world, especially when we're coming alongside, what is our goal is to tell their story. Yeah. Well, how can we tell a story if we're just defining products? Yeah. And we know our products, and they do too. It's a bullet list. I mean, come on. Yeah. But what I don't know is that personal. Oh my gosh, this is why you do this. This is the why that I asked a client earlier today. What is your why? I just finished doing all this medical equipment on a wall, and he was almost shaking. He's so excited every time he's moving some of the pieces, and I'm like, he's so passionate. I love this. Yeah. And I'm sitting here going, what is all this stuff? It's a foreign world to me. So at the end, I'm like, what's your why? Yeah. And then he tells me it makes everyone in the room safer at a hospital. Ooh, well, that's a big deal. Yeah, that could be a life or death thing in an ER, right? And I'm like, that's a big why. And it cuts costs and just helps takes the pressure off of that. Well, that's a big why too. Yeah, you know,
and that's like, a very important why.
I mean, between those two things,
I mean, what they're doing is important, but had you not asked, you would have never known, right? It would just look like some pieces of medical equipment, right?
Yeah, and then you know, again, it's like framing. Yeah, framing the story, but it's true. You know, if we're capturing this, it's like, well, we know the story. I could do a post, or I could do a referral or whatever, and I could be like, oh, this is why you got to go to this business. This is one of my clients, and this is why he does this. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? And all these pieces all come together and can be moved, right? Yeah. It helps us be able to really tell other people's story past photo and video, even though the product.
Yeah. So what cameras do you use currently? What's your camera of choice? I know we know it's Canon, but what's the
I'm
model?
Still in the Canon DSLR mode. So and honestly, it's like so much has gone to the mirrorless, but I would have to replace the whole system. Yeah, and it works fine for me. I use the Mark IIIs, Mark IVs, and those are fine. And I just got a used one, you know, Christmas time, Black Friday last year, because I still think they're fine for me. Yeah, because you're and I know a lot of photographers prefer having a mirror, even though mirrorless is where the trend is. They still prefer the mirror because of, you know, the way, you know, you see the image. Now, is there certain like lenses that you prefer? What's your favorite, like, I don't know, portrait lens or whatever? For events, the 24 to 105 f4 Canon lens just stays on my camera exclusively for events, unless it is a really tight space and I need the super wide, you know, 16 to 35 that I pull out just if I absolutely have to be in like really tight space. Ooh, we got to get it right. Other than that 24 to 105, same with weddings. It's just a great event lens, and it's not the most expensive. Like you could get that lens. It's very sharp. It's very fast,
but under $1,000.
But it's under $1,000. And again, you can get. I encourage people. The quality of used gear now is plenty good for professionals. Like the professional series. Yeah. Right.
And because it's still L series glass.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
And also, what about portraits? So when you do headshots, is there certain focal lengths you prefer?
This I break away from the L series. I use the 85, and it's not the 1.2, the big professional one.
Is it the 1.4?
Because yes, it's like less than $500.
Yeah. I love but not in Canon, but yeah, my favorite tight lens is 85 1.4 too. It's in the Sony world. Same thing. They make a 1.2. Don't use it. It's only a 1.4.
If you're not gonna, I tell the young people who are any of the people in the ego for gear, look, and I'm like, really? Why do you shoot that at 1.2? If you do not, you don't need the 1.2.
Especially in photo.
If I'm this close to you at 1.2, the tip of your nose is sharp and everything else looks weird.
Exactly. It's different. Now in video, we will use 1.4. I mean, even the cinema lenses we just got, funny enough, they're 1.4, and we will actually shoot a 1.4.
Oh, you do those at 1.4, huh?
Yeah. But that's video, right? Because we want the depth. It's
Yeah.
completely different in photo because you guys can crank up the shutter speed or whatever. We're stuck at the
Totally.
180-degree shutter angle, so
Right.
it's not. We can't. I don't know. We can't change for me, the way I treat it is like it's shutter angle cannot be changed. ISO cannot be changed because it's native ISO only. Then you're left with like aperture is
Ugh.
1.4. So you're left with literally the only thing you can change is ND filter, and that's it. which kind of limits you, and that's what I tell people. Like a lot of people think, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and I'm like, yes, you can. But as at least to me, as a good DP, you already know the look you're going for, the feel that you're going
Yeah.
for. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna already figure out this. Like before I leave, I've already figured out the settings I'm gonna shoot at. But that doesn't mean it's gonna work in the location.
Oh,
And that's where
right.
you can control
Yeah.
two things: either lighting
Yeah.
or you can control ND filter. But I know in photography it doesn't work that way because you
right.
can change shutter angle, you can change aperture,
Yep.
you can change a
Bump
lot of
up that
things.
ISO
Yeah,
so
bump up
much.
the ISO
Yeah.
to get the things that you need.
Yeah.
So I think that freedom is what makes it easier.
The dynamic range is
Yeah.
incredible with
Of
the
these
high
cameras, yeah.
resolution and these cameras now. You got
Yeah.
3 stops on each side. I mean, and it's not to say to be lazy. It's just to say, phew, you're saved in some situations. If you really need
Yeah.
if you need to utilize that, you can.
So what do you use for editing them? Do you use Lightroom?
Lightroom. Yeah.
Have you switched to anything AI? Have you experimented with
I
any?
have experimented with some. What's one? Shoot Proof was one that I've tried, and I even tried to run a wedding through it one time, and I would get for culling, and I'd get him back, and I'd be like, whoa, they missed a lot,
Yeah.
and or no, what it was after shoot, I think was the name, but I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
can't get the exact one of what it was. I think it was after shoot. So yeah, I tried it, and I didn't really love it, and there's careful about it, but because again, I don't want to
Yeah.
throw a certain company under the bus because it may work for somebody
Yeah.
else. But there's a definite group of us serious, again, especially more in the high end of photographers. That it's
Mhm.
like that's a laziness with editing if you're just depending on too much AI to
Yeah.
just do your work. If you're telling a client, I carefully go through all of your images to make sure we have the best ones, and then AI is culling and missing some.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a disservice to your client at minimum and dishonest at best.
Yeah,
or
you
at
need
worst.
to. I think AI has its place, but
Yeah.
it's not 100% replacing a human. It's
It's
it's there to supplement us. I see
Yeah.
the role for it, and we use it. Like I use Chat GPT all the time. But at the same time, I don't think it replaces me.
No.
If I didn't give it the feedback, for example, just talking about chat, like if I didn't tell it what I wanted it to say, and it just wrote me for a little more professionally, it's one
Right.
thing. Then
That's
for it
not
to just
bad.
completely come up with something,
Yeah.
then it's like, that's not my words,
Yeah.
right? That's not me. Same thing with photography. I'm sure, there's a tool that's like, oh, I just want the white balance to be this or that or whatever, and it can, I don't know, auto figure it out, like with the ad. That would make more sense to me. But then where it's just like, hey, color this, and then it just does whatever it thinks you should, and then it's
Right.
like it doesn't take care of the mood, the personality, the branding, all the other stuff
Yeah.
that you would think about as you. The AI doesn't know that information, and unless you somehow feed it that, how does it even know that? It doesn't. It just
Right.
simply doesn't. It doesn't matter how good it gets.
The biggest one,
Uh,
though, the best one that we're enjoying as photographers is object removal with generative
Oh,
or
yeah.
without generative. And that can be in Lightroom or Photoshop.
Mhm.
I like the one that's in Lightroom. And that could be like just some background element, and say you're at an event or something, and there's just some background thing coming out of somebody when you're just like, oh, can we just get this pole out of here or something,
Yeah.
right? And
And
it's
that's
not
amazing.
laziness as a
Yeah.
photographer, and it doesn't change the photograph. It just kind of cleans it up
Yeah.
just a little bit. And I don't feel like, and again, that's not up for awards and things like this. Doesn't change the subject, doesn't
Yeah.
change their face or any of that.
No,
Just
I'm
kinda
all
cleans
for
up.
it. Yeah, exactly.
I like that. Or extending backgrounds and things if I was doing a canvas wrap or something. Right?
And that's exactly where we have
Doesn't
been
affect
using
subject.
generative fill in
Yeah.
video. I love that, being able to go in Photoshop, taking, like you said, where we wanted to go wider, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
So you can go in, fill a frame, then, we can mask the subject into that frame. So even though it's
Yes.
a photo, it becomes a video. And then all of a sudden, you could go from, I don't know, 35 to a 21 millimeter or whatever if you wanted to go wide. And just couldn't because of the location. So that is one of my favorite things that
Yes.
generative AI can do, and that's where I think AI is a really good add-on for us because that information didn't exist.
Yes.
So there's no way like we could have done any better. It has to be done by AI, and it's pretty good at that. You have to play
really
a little
good,
bit, right? But it can, especially I'm talking about like creating, extending your background or whatever. If you play with it a little bit, you can get really good results.
Yeah, and like I just mentioned, taking out a light pole
Yeah.
or different people in the background in bright bikinis at a beach or something that you don't want. It's just things like that it's like it just kind of quickly cleans it up, but doesn't alter the subject too much or cause the image to have a fake sunset put in. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just really, like you just said, it's like it's a situation. A lot of times we're in an event, we're in something that's moving. It's not like we're able to just stand there and say, "Oh, hold on, everyone. Could you please move because that pole's in your head?" It's like, no, we gotta go.
No, but what do you see in the future though? Like, obviously, it's new. Everything's trying to be AI, but let's give it 10 years, 15 years. It actually does get good. Do you what do you rather see would happen with AI in less than 10 years?
Being
it's just
a people photographer, my hope is that it doesn't get to the point where it's just altering the looks of people. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's like we do enough, even in the headshots. Yes, we do some retouch, right?
Yeah.
But we don't want it to get to where people just aren't even looking real people, or we're plugging people in here and there.
Yeah. I mean, you could
Or
already
really
do
could
that.
replace people with, you could like randomly just put them in. And honestly, I could see it going that way. I could see that it really could be where like, oh, okay, well, was that person really there? There's a video of that person, or there's a photo of that person, but I don't think they were really there. So it could go in a lot of ways that just compromise the integrity of our profession, right? To the point where people can't tell. And then it becomes, well, how do I know I can trust Indra and that you're not going to fill in the blank?
Exactly.
Right?
And also, plus what you're doing.
I don't want to
one
affect
thing,
trust.
if somebody gave you, I don't know, a photograph to come up with or something, I don't know, as art, that's a different thing to me than what you're doing. And, as event photography, let's say, or corporate photography, you're there to capture the moment that hasn't happened. AI doesn't know this. AI is not there. The events never even happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that replaces you or the event or whatever is happening that day.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's going to evolve, but I completely agree with you. Hopefully it doesn't change the integrity of it. Like, you take a photo, you put in the software, and the person comes out looking great, but it looks nothing like them.
And that's the talk in our professional photographers and mentors, up the chain.
Yeah.
When they're asked that question, the real top, the lifers of our industry that have done it all right. When they're asked that question, and it's a podcast with them, these are the answers I've heard from them, and I'm just like, that does make sense. It's about our integrity of our art, and there's fine lines, and those lines are going to move. So as they move, then what we're talking about now in 10 years will be like, we were really talking about that?
Yeah,
it's like, well, generative AI is like, way past that.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
I still remember, like I said, and it's so crazy. I'm not that old, but again, the nostalgia factor, I see it because I go, oh, GH4, I still remember getting the first 4K camera. I'm going, this is game changing, blah, 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 going from the Canons to the Pana. And now I'm like, I think about it, I was like, I thought that was, and now it's like,
we're even talking about film and digital. Film back.
Exactly. I'm like, my cell phone does better than what I was amazed by just a few years ago. How fast this is moving. You're right. What's probably actually going to happen in 10 years, we can't even think of right now.
But here's one thing I am thinking about, because we're talking about DSLR for cameras and now the mirrorless, and how the word I would use is mirrorless that I always hear from people is how intuitive. Really, it's like from eye movement to focus and just all the ways in which it's very intuitive. Well, like our cell phones, they're very intuitive. What if that intuition turns into AI within the cameras?
Yeah.
Then it's like I could really see that. Like the technology within the cameras is then now you've got these AI settings in your camera that we're laughing right now, but in 10 years it'll be like, we were laughing and oh my gosh, look at this, right? That's where I could see it. The technology is getting so much in the cameras.
Yeah.
And then
I do like, to be honest, it depends. Like you said, it's how it's used.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it if I go in there and it just magically, made people like, slimmer or whatever. I don't know. I don't think
That's
we
what I'm
our
saying.
beauty filter. But at the
That
same
is what I'm
time, I
saying.
love how Sony's using AI. So
Yeah.
some of their newer cameras that have come out, they have a focus chip that's AI.
Nice.
So AI is figuring out who the person is
Yeah.
and who's not, so it
Oh,
can
that's great.
focus on the person. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I've
That's great.
seen the results of the cameras that have AI. Like none of these have it, but they're newer because these are their cinema line. But some of their new alpha cameras have this chip, and the autofocus is incredible because it's
So you can preset the person. All right, I want you to follow
yeah.
Trump over there,
Yeah,
or whatever. Right?
And I don't think you have to do it. That's the point of AI, right?
Yeah.
It just smartly recognizes it. And obviously, if for some reason, let's say, didn't get it right, you can tap where you want it to focus. But usually, it's so smart enough
That's
that it
great.
just does it. Like
Yeah.
you don't have you focus on framing and
Right.
getting the right angle or whatever. You don't have to worry about that it's going to be in focus or not. And that's where I'm like, yes, please
That's
give me
great.
more cameras with
Yeah.
that, because that's a different type of. That's just helping us do more of what we're doing. That's where I'm happy with. I'm like, absolutely. And I love my favorite thing where I think it should come to professional cameras. Like I can right now pull my iPhone out. I can point here, no proper lighting, no nothing,
Yeah.
probably backlit.
Yeah.
And it will make sure that the shot is focused on me. It's also I'm well lit.
Yeah.
Now obviously
skin tones too.
yeah, skin tone. So it's obviously doing software magic.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it works. Versus on these
Agreed.
cameras, unless you just get it absolutely right, there's no other way around
That's
it.
right.
And I'm like, if my tiny little iPhone that only costs obviously a lot less than these
Yeah.
very, very expensive cameras, then why can't we get such a chip, whatever the Apple chip is,
Yeah.
or it doesn't have to be Apple, whatever Sony chip or Canon chip. Why can't our cameras do that? Can you imagine if, like you said, it's already high dynamic range, but can you imagine how much more dynamic range we could have? Because that's what iPhone is doing, right? It's taking the sky and crunching it, taking the shadows, crunching it, so you get more in the same thing. Why couldn't these big cameras do that? They have better
So
sensors.
true.
If this tiny sensor can do it, sure, they can do it with this sensor. But it hasn't come yet.
No.
But
I was at the beach yesterday doing a photo session, family session at the beach, and we get past the sunset. Right at the end, the light's gone. The light's gone. And then they wanted a picture, with their phone down at the water. So I pull it out. I pull out their phone and I look at them. Whoa! What just happened? They just got bright and their skin just turned, and then the sky just turned nice. My camera's straight up, but now editing doesn't look like that.
Yeah, it's because that is software. It's not the hardware, because the sensor's tiny. That's what I'm saying. If they can do what they're currently doing with the tiny sensors in our phones, imagine the same processing what it could do on these large format cameras or full frame cameras. I think, but they have to make that. I don't know why that hasn't happened.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. See, if I look at that way, I'm like,
Maybe
why are we
Apple
lagging
should start
behind?
making cameras and video cameras.
Dude, you
We
took-
would be geeking out over all that
know.
stuff.
I'm like, I don't know how much more money I could give to Apple. I have way too
know.
much Apple thing, but you're
Agree.
absolutely right. If you were to put what their latest DSP, the whatever signal processing they do on their phones, into a legit cinema camera,
Right.
I am not even joking.
And I
That
bet it would
would
be
be,
way simplified for video and photography. In other words, just not as bulky.
Yeah.
Somehow they would find a way to make it where it's just such a smooth experience to handle.
Exactly. No, I am all for, like I said, I'm all for Apple, making a cinema camera or even a photography camera.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to, because the iPhone is their camera. Unfortunately, I think what we need is one of these other companies to come up with such signal processing, because I don't know. I get it. They couldn't do it, let's say, at the same time as Apple, but Apple's been doing this for 5-10 years now.
Yeah,
they
totally.
can catch up at this point, especially Sony. They already have AI chips in their cameras.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just not processing the image. It's just doing the focus. So I don't know why they couldn't, but I would love to see that, is what I'm saying. Next 3 to 5 years, I would love to see what technologies in the phones come to bigger sensors. Now, whether that means Apple makes a phone with a bigger sensor, that's fine with me, or one of these companies just puts a chip like that, I think that would be incredible. Yeah.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
First. If only we were software developers.
Yeah,
to come up with
exactly. We
this
could
and be
only,
like, man.
I'm sure I'm making it sound very simple. I'm sure it's way more complicated.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure
but-
somebody at Canon or Sony's already thought about it like a million times. Now, what type of photography is your favorite? Like, I know you do, like, obviously personal portraits, events, corporate, headshots. What do you like to do? What's your at least preferred option?
My very favorite and has been for years is high school seniors. I love high school seniors, not cap and gown, formal, the ones that they do for the yearbook. But it's such a special milestone year when you're a kid and then you're about to graduate high school. And that photo session is way different. And we didn't have this back in my day where you had, you could go out and get lifestyle photos, with a professional photographer for senior photos.
Yeah,
It was like you line up, you get your cap and gown, and you get out of there.
Yeah, that was it.
And they look, oh man, I should send you the one from
Yeah,
I had
I
the
would love to
mullet
see,
going,
yeah.
and
Oh.
it was like terrible. Oh man, it's like no one loved them. No one loved that. But the kids that go with me, and Thomas Lightbody's the same way with TK Photography. Man, he's like my high school senior, mentor of all of it. He's just like phenomenal. He's the standard out there in West Orange. It's just he just really captures it, and it inspires me too. People like him, where I'm just like, man, I just want to go so far overboard for them, because a lot of them, it is going to be the only photo shoot outside their wedding, probably. But the wedding isn't just about them. This would be the only photo shoot they ever have that's about them.
Yeah.
So it's very significant because it's their entire teen legacy. And the guys, all right, cool, yeah, we're done, whatever. But their parents are like, thank you, I can't get pictures of him.
Yeah.
And most of us guys don't like getting our picture taken, myself included. But the girls have so much fun. So it'll be me and the high school senior girl and her mom. And her mom's having fun. I put her mom to work, and she assists, and it's bonding with her daughter. And then at the same time, the high school girl's just having so much fun, feeling like a model for a day. She's changing outfits 2 or 3 times, making me feel like a rock star. And at that same time, at the end of that, it's a big, big memory, a big part of their senior year. And I'm proud of the artistry of it because of the personalities that I'm capturing and that legacy that is just is that we're really able to capture. It's a passion project.
No, that actually sounds awesome. No, because like you said, it's not like they graduate high school every day, and these are some good memories to have. Because, like you said, you're not only bonding their parents into it, you are also giving them pictures that they're gonna for sure look back 10, 20, 30 years from now and cherish those memories.
Yeah, because they love them.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's a big thing I take. I'll show them in the back of the camera. Hey, that's a big deal, because if the senior doesn't like your picture, then especially if it's the girl, she's just looking at mom like, get me out of this, right? Unfortunately, I don't get much of that, because the second I show that senior, like, oh, wow, oh, that's awesome. And then it just fuels the session. 2 seconds of awkwardness, over. Yeah. And I'm in my 50s, but, I can't even sit here. I have so much energy. I'm very high energy. I do marathons. I've done Ironman triathlons. I'm running with my boy now, my 13-year-old. And, I love things that have a lot of high energy. And those sessions just go. We're all over the place having a blast. Downtown Winter Garden, downtown Orlando, all kinds of different places. Disney, whatever.
Wow, that's so awesome.
So you asked the passion project. Yeah. That's definitely the passion project. But the why is because it's a very big year for that person. And for the rest of your life, if you think about it, when in the world are you ever going to get a portrait that's just you ever again?
And most people, like you said, nowadays, younger people, even my age, like we didn't do photo sessions. So it's really cool that it's an opportunity for them to, dress up, be a model,
Express
like you said,
themselves,
express themselves, get some photos, get some memories. That sounds pretty awesome. What is the most lucrative though? So this would be what you like,
Right,
but where is
exactly.
the money at? So if somebody's listening, what type of photographer should they be?
The obvious glamour one is luxury weddings. And that's an average of between 5,000 and 10,000 for me, and for the really devoted long-term wedding photographers, they could make $50,000 weddings, especially being near Disney and doing the big Disney weddings. Yeah. I know several photographers that do really well with that. They're totally devoted to it. They've done it for many years, and the standard is very high. Yeah. So breaking into that is decades, exactly. Right? But it's also, you got to really want that, and it's a totally different thing. So that's the glamorous one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, my average between 5,000 and 10,000 per wedding for a really full, full size, really good wedding. On the corporate side, it's branding, commercial photography with branding,
Yeah.
So in other words, it's like you either get stock photography
Yeah.
of your business, or you get branded images with licenses, and
Yeah.
you get to use those images.
Mhm.
And those vary wildly, just
Yeah.
depending on the size of the business. And I'm still aiming high for
Yeah.
bigger corporations of that. So it's branding photography on that, and those can be tens of thousands of dollars for licensing. And that licensing, it keeps coming every year.
Exactly.
Which is, so if you're going to go corporate, then you need something that's going to keep coming with licenses,
Yeah.
or businesses that keep coming
Yeah.
for the events every year,
Yeah.
right? And in the event world, well, you get an hourly rate, usually $250 to $350 an hour of hourly rate kind of thing. And then the only way you that's really the ceiling.
Mhm.
The only way to upscale that is to add in headshots.
Mm.
So if you're adding in, or it's got awards people, and you're adding in portraits with awards, it's something where there's additional valuable digital assets that the company can use while they're gathered for a corporate convention or event. And that's really where I'm headed now. That's the direction I'm headed now. So that's why I was meeting with the destination management company yesterday, talking about that so I could do events and then tie in the headshots and awards. Again, it's another level of trust with the photographer that goes,
Exactly.
all right, we're gathering the executives. Here's a perfect example. IAPA is the short for the theme park, Global Theme Park Association, headquartered here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their board of directors is from around the world. And they gather every November for their convention that's always here, and their headquarters is here.
Mm-hmm.
So they call me every year now. I've done it 2 years, so
Yeah.
I made it a year too.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
This time I went to their headquarters, and as all of them came in, one's from Italy, one's from Germany, one's from South America. Some of them don't even speak English, but their staff would help me gather them. We preset. I went before the day to really scout everything. We preset them up, and we did a whole board of directors photo, and then a new headshot of each one right there, and it all had to be done within that lunch hour.
That's crazy.
And we, of course, we knocked it out, and I'm proud of that. And that's a perfect example, though, of this is how, if you want to go into corporate, it's not as glamorous. That sounds whatever, weddings, glamorous, whatever. The real bread and butter is there's a convention, there's 5,000 people, and you're going to do, say, 500 or 800 headshots.
Exactly. That could.
And that's a
add up.
production.
Yeah.
We would have multiple stations set up in our photographer area.
Yeah.
I use my contracted partners, and everybody set up your station and make it consistent. And then each person's headshot has a cost to it.
Yeah.
But the business gets an incredible value because we're bundling all this. Everybody's getting it done, and it's such a hassle to get headshot. And then you're tying it into the event.
That's incredible. And and that, like you said, that could be lucrative too on the business side of things, because every headshot has a cost, and you times that by huge number of people at a huge event, and that can be a significant amount of money.
Big time.
And that can also, fuel those smaller passion projects. Like you said, you can go now do a few more graduations where it's not the big money, but it's something you enjoy, right?
Yes.
And so I love that that aspect of it, and that's why I've been amazed by. That's usually what we have to partner for. It's either event photography or headshots. Yeah. Like, how many companies just need headshots? You would be amazed, right? You would think, oh, everyone has a headshot. No.
You go to websites or you go to LinkedIn's, and it's just like terrible. And like I was telling you, it's like I see this AI one, and it was a person that's been reaching out to me but didn't follow through. And for not because they're a bad person, whatever, it's just life gets you. Yeah. I always say this because, again, we're listening, right? I'm like, why don't you get a headshot? The most common objection, it's such a hassle. It's just such a hassle. So the problem that I want to solve, and I'm still on a mission to solve it, right, is the problem that you solve is, how do you make it not a hassle? Yeah. Well, if they're already gathered, they're all together, go set up, and then make it seamless. Let them pick their picture on the spot before they walk away, approve of it. Yeah. So we'll set up live tethering so that they have their image tethered, and then they walk over from the camera to their image and go, I don't like that. All right, back over here, sir, ma'am, let's take care of you. Then they go back. Oh, I approve. Okay, boom, emailed to you. You're done.
There you go. Done. Yeah,
a little bit of retouch and they're done.
Couldn't be
and they're
easier,
so happy because they're like, I've been needing to do this forever.
Yeah, and you made it seamless. You made it easy. They were already gonna be there anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I love that. So how do you go about talking about for other photographers if they wanted to get into this business, how do they go get these clients? That'd be the
For the
toughest thing.
businesses?
Yeah, for businesses. Let's say they want to get into event photography. They want to do these headshots.
Yeah.
How would they go about even getting into this business?
Yeah, and remember, so corporate is different than portraits and weddings, where a lot of that is relationships and personal referrals and things like this. But then we switch to the corporate world, and a lot of it is making sure that we are in business community, right?
Yes.
It's still about relationships. It really is. But there's another side of it. And that is, and we're actually, myself and my team have been going through this course on SEO for this particular specific type of photography and how well it works. Because especially here, we've got a lot of people coming in from around the world, really, for conventions and conferences. Well, they don't know relationally the photographers, so they're Googling, we need a headshot photographer in Orlando. So I just finished a course, and I'm gonna go through it again of just how to boost our SEO to get in that top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And there are easy ways. It takes time. You said it earlier. Nothing's.
No, SEO is one of the most hardest things.
It changes all the time, right? So there's things we can control.
Yeah.
And with the way we're writing blogs, with the way that we're, coding the photography when we put it in there and all that. But our next goal is to really utilize SEO. And I've got a photographer friend that almost 90% of her business, well, it's actually the one that did the course, 90% of her business is headshots. And the vast majority comes to SEO. Yeah. That's great.
So she must have really good SEO.
Really good SEO.
Yeah.
And it wasn't instant, right? There's a 6-month delay, right? Or a 4-month delay. And then it starts to click in. But again, on the business side, on the corporate side, well, it depends on your market. But if you're talking about Central Florida, how can you maximize destination, and companies that travel to here?
Yeah, because this is
they don't know
market.
anybody.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's destination management companies. That's why I'm reaching out to them. It's SEO. And then on the ground, it's people who are running businesses and well-connected to just keep networking.
Yeah. That's actually very smart. You want to tap into the industries that you want to be because they're already coming here. We have an advantage of being in a location that's kind of like the tourism capital of the country, if not the world. People want to come here, and they already do. Yeah. Conventions come here. Conferences come here. Literally, my friend from Canada, the only time I see him is when his company does a conference here. So I get to see him because his company literally flies him to Orlando to attend a conference. And good for us, free time to see your friend. So this happens a lot where, people come here, and we're right here. So if you can get into the mix or connect with the people, or the decision makers or whoever and make their life easier, they can have a trusted partner. And good for you is where, like you said, it can be a volume game. Not only are you giving them quality stuff, you can maximize the number because the amount of the headshots or photos that you can do at the same time. So it's a win-win.
Like I said, with the IAPA, with the tourism or theme park association, is that it's every year. So some people do a convention in a different place each year, but a lot of people, it's Orlando. Yeah. And especially if it's a winter event, then or a northern state, then you're coming to Florida in the winter. Exactly, so you keep it in Orlando. Yeah. So in other words, for business standpoint, it's repeat business when you earn that kind of trust. And believe me, it's like when I'm doing theirs, I'm paying close attention when I'm scouting, when I'm shooting, and then the after. If they ever give me an ask, then I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. I'm taking real good care of the specific things that those people need because that kind of care is building such a trust that there's no bidding or quotes from all this. They're like, yeah, this is our partner. All right, here's the date of the next one.
Exactly. Right? You don't have to go back through the whole proposal process. They already know what it costs you. And even if it's a premium, they're willing to pay for premium, which I also think your rates are very reasonable for the quality of work that you do, which is also, I think, very important. Like, it also depends on who the client is. Like, some people tell me, it's funny, my interactions are two opposites. So for some people, people who have no idea what video is, usually they're like, I'm the premium option, right? They're like, wow, this is what I want to be like. I want to have my company's video made by Bindra. And then when I'm working with Fortune 50 companies, I'm the budget pick, right? They picked me because they could get all of
Yeah.
this for a lot less than another company from, let's say, New York or whatever, because our costs are lower because we're in Orlando. So it's so funny. It's just the reference point changes.
right.
Nothing I do changes. It's who's looking at it. So for a big company, like, nice budget option. There's these guys are very very what do you call effective with the funds or whatever. They can work for less. Or do more for the less, and then it's the opposite. It's always this is like that much for a video. Oh wow,
Right.
and then you have to show value. I've never had the best thing I like working with small businesses. Why I like it, even though like you said, the budgets may be lower, is the experience.
Yeah.
Because with big companies, they already know what they're expecting, right? When they're hiring a proper production. But with small company, even my smallest production that I do, which is a basic video, is so much more than any other typical videographer, because they approach it from a videography standpoint. I approach it from filmmaking
That's
standpoint.
right.
So when we show up, the impression you get is kind of like Kelly. Talk about that. Coming back to it, like when we filmed her, so she had told me, like, we were trying to fit all these people in the schedule, right? I had to do 18 video. She was like, yeah, I'm filming something, but I can be there this time or whatever. And I was like, that's awesome. So she was already filming something, right? Whatever that was, I don't know. But when we showed up, and I was like, yeah, we'll do our lightest setup, so because we want to make it fast. Like, me and Mario, we could try and get this done in 30 minutes. It's not like I have a huge crew too. It's just the two of us on that one. And funny enough, when we were done setting, she was like, I didn't think it was going to be this huge of a production. And for us, it's like, and this is like the tiniest production we can do.
And Mario's back there. I got my ice cream.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry.
And it's so funny. So the way they look at it, it's like, this is a major production. And for us, it's like, it's like the perspective. And I'm sure if they hired another local videographer, to them that is a major production. If you're bringing like you said, a mirrorless camera or whatever, and they're just doing both, then that's most that they can do or whatever. But it was just funny to me because of like, no, this is the fastest, quickest way I can actually shoot where you look good. And you were there. You were there at the Big Orange Awards this year, right? You saw the videos. What'd you think about them?
Oh no, I wasn't at Big Orange. We had the Winter Garden Music Festival the exact same day because they moved it to Saturday.
Now. Yeah,
I didn't see the videos.
How did that happen? Yeah, which I was surprised about that too. Huh?
Were they yours?
Yeah, all the 18 videos we did this year at the Big Orange Awards.
Completely missed
that played
all of
for
it.
each
It's
of
the
the
first one I've
nominees.
missed in years. But she moved it to Saturday. Amy did prior because she wants to serve all the members, of course, and a lot of the members have said it's hard to get out there on Friday. So I validate.
I get what she tried to do, but yeah, we partnered with them. We basically made not only the recap video that we do. This year, we actually made 18 videos, one for each nominee, basically.
Oh, gosh.
So, and which is good for them.
That's
they get a
very
free
cool.
60, 90-second, essentially, commercial for free on Chamber's behalf. And, good for us. It's just our partnership with the Chamber. So it was a bigger partnership this year. I think probably the biggest that I've ever done. And it was a lot of work that we put in.
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember that project, Mario?
Yeah, of course. We had like a lot of people coming here, a lot of nominees. Right here, we interviewing then, and then also we went to some businesses.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was really cool. It was right there. We pulled down the seamless. We made it orange. So the way we did it 12 here. So all the awards, and then the small and large businesses, we went to their locations. So 6 we went on location, 12 in studio. So it's really cool. We bring that seamless. We lit it orange.
Nice.
The Western Chamber
for,
colors with the green plants. So there's green and orange. They came out really good. And then, like you said, we went to the 6 members, that was incredible too. Having to like figure out the scheduling, and this is all last minute. How it works. And it was just a lot of fun. And then it's so great then, to see their brand, represented at such a big scale, because these awards are huge. And then also they have, all sorts of businesses present there, which is what, Stephen and Amy had to say, that they loved the videos, but that also, everyone essentially got a free just by being nominated. So even if they didn't win, they technically got to tell people who they are, what they do,
Still,
which you don't normally go in the past.
Of their story and their brand, just personal brand. Just
which wasn't there in the last few years. So it was like elevating not only the award show itself, but it technically gave each business an opportunity to speak about who they are. And so that was really fun. I'm glad we got to do that partnership. Obviously, it's kind of costly for us to do it, but happy to, again, Western Chamber, I'm biased, but I like them. So I was like, I was totally down to do it. because that's my one chance. That's all we do. We don't do
Yeah.
any marketing. We don't do outreach at this stage. I've been doing this long enough that I have, luckily, enough people that in my network that just call me, so
Yes.
that the calendar stays booked, quite literally. Booked after the podcast,
Yeah.
before the podcast. So I'm running on fumes, literally no sleep. But that's just life. So I'm lucky in that way. So I'm just happy to partner with chambers. That's the only way of outreach I would say I do, is through the chambers that I'm part of. And I think
Agree.
I don't know, I find it worthwhile, even whether I get directly
very
clients, but
fulfilling.
also indirectly clients, because it may not be a chamber member immediately goes, oh, Bindra, but they go, oh, I know this person needs video, or this person needs video, right? They can connect you because their network goes further, right? It's like a
Yeah.
spider web. It just goes and goes and goes, and you never know where your next lead is coming from. But I think, again, people look out for you. Like, you give back, the community gives back to you. Yeah.
Don't you find that is a great way, because we're both, you talk about this as far as pricing relating to value, not apples to apples against other photographers and videographers for the product. Remember,
Yeah.
I said that earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's like, look, there's similar products. If you throw me in this little bidding war for this small business, and they need 8 headshots for this service business down the street, and then, oh, we got another photographer. Well, I'm not going to get that job.
Yeah.
And if that's all the platform you give me to share
Yeah.
about why I'm different is I'm your point person, but I'm not the decision maker, I'm not going to get that job.
Yeah.
Because my bid is going to be based on a lot
Yeah.
of these things that are not the actual just product.
Yeah.
Right? It's like really not. And they're going to have to find a new bid every single year that's the lowest. And it's going to be a different person every year.
And you never know what quality you're going to get.
And it's going to
So-
be inconsistent,
Yeah.
right?
Because you may get lucky, but usually the lowest people, who knows how long they're going to stick around. It's one
Yeah,
thing you get
right.
lucky, somebody's just starting their career and they just wanted to do a lower, and you're
Yeah.
sure you can get them next year, but then they're not going to be the lowest, right?
That's
Or
right.
usually if you do pick, like you said, the lowest every year, then you're just getting the lowest of the lows. And like I said, that's why I don't compete in price.
No.
Because to me, there's no reference point. Like
That's
I
right.
said, if I'm talking to a big name brand, then I'm probably on the lower price point, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm talking to a smaller brand, I'm probably on the very high price point. So it's like, I can't do that. I can just charge what my services cost.
Right.
What I try to do is very simple. I literally listen, like you said. We just listen.
We started
to
here
their
as we
needs.
wind down.
And
we-
once I figure out what they need, then I can tell them what the range is going to be. Because the biggest thing for me that I don't think, at least on the small side, is lack of knowledge is what I do.
Right.
They think I'm just a videographer and I
Yeah.
grab a camera. And I'm like, no, I'm your producer. I'm your producer
Yeah.
partner. It's like you had a video department in your company. That's who I replace. So you
right.
tell me what you need, and I'm your producer guy, and I go, okay, I can do this, or we need to do this. And then I go, okay, what's the budget, right? And
That's right.
or I can give them a range, because most businesses have
They'll-
no idea.
Or they say, I don't really have a budget. And I'm like, yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
You
Is
don't
it
know what it
$1
is.
million? Yeah.
But if I tell you my quote, you know what it is.
Exactly. Then they'll say, oh, yeah, it is. So
Right? It's
I
like,
generally-
oh, well, you have a budget then. Say
yeah,
what it is.
and then I have to like explain to them how it works, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I could do it for, let's say, I don't know, I'm just making up
Yeah,
a
yeah,
project, but let's say 5 to 20K, and they're like, how's that range possible? I'm like, very simple: number of people, much time of equipment, the time of editing hours.
That's right.
I can change that. I'm the producer, right?
Yeah.
So if you tell me, hey, our budget is only $5,000, I'm like, okay, how can we do this? We can do one shoot day. I can give 15 hours to the editor. I can bring 3 people on the set or something like that, right? I can work out the max value for my client because I'm working for them, right? And then if they say, oh no, we can spring for 15K or whatever, right? Then I'm like, okay, now I can add multiple shoot days. We can go to multiple locations. We can get multiple shots. But the end result is still a video. And that education element is always a challenge to me, because I kind of hate like having to tell them, like, no, I'm your partner. I'm not just a videographer. You want a videographer, you can find them at all price points,
Yeah.
from free to $1 million. But I am not the videographer. I am your partner, and my job is to make the most of your money.
That's right.
Right? So
Yeah.
I need to know the budget. And if you don't know the budget, that's fine. I can give you a range. Then you got to, and then it's different. It's not like if I said 5 to 20, gave me 8, then you're going to get the 20K
Yeah.
video, right? What you give me, I guarantee I'm gonna put it all back into the video, but I can only put back what you give me. So anyway,
true.
that education element is such a challenge, but it's fun Because
Yeah.
what I love about small businesses, then they get the rewards and you get to hear that. Versus big companies, they get the video, they're like, oh, awesome, and then they move on, right?
And they usually
yeah.
have had that, so it's like
Yeah,
it's not their first rodeo with it. So
Exactly.
they're like, "Yep, that fits. That's what we're used to." A lot of bigger businesses, I'll ask,
Yeah.
"What are you used to? What are you used to paying? What are you used to getting? What is your experience like?" If I can get
Yeah.
that much time to ask 3 or 4 questions, those are like the 3 or 4.
Exactly. And also for us at least is asking a reference video. I'm just like,
Yeah,
just
could I
show me-
see what you've had?
Yeah, or what you want to have, because then I can give you a price point. Because I had this recently
Completely.
with a client of mine where they showed me a video and I was like, well, this is incredible. They were like, we want to do something like this. I was like, well, this video is incredible, but this is a 7-figure video.
Yeah.
We can't do that. I mean, I know you well now.
Right.
Like, can I do that? Yes, absolutely. I've done $500,000-$600,000 projects. I can handle the project, but not in the nicest way possible. This isn't your marketing budget.
Right.
Because if we had that kind of budget, I could make you 10 other videos that will give you the better revenue return. So I'd explain, I was like, here's what we can do. Let's not spend $1 million making this. How about we spend $15K and we can get about 90% to 95% there. Obviously, that last 5% is where the big jump comes in, right? You got to get name actors and expensive sets, right? It's not the video itself is different. So I'm like, why don't we make the same video, but we do it in 15K range? Now you're 95% there without that huge threshold that we have to combine.
You can always modify it.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. And I'm like, but now here's some extra ideas. Here's what we can do if you really want to go the next level. These 3-4 videos will make you stand out compared to your competition more than one video. Then I know as soon as I tell you what this costs, you're gonna just be like, nope. Because like small businesses can't afford $1 million video.
That's right.
But they can. But the reference. If I had never asked for a reference video, I would have never known.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to also set their expectations. They look at the video, they're like, I want that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you have to look. There's a name actor in there. you don't want to know what they charge to be in this.
And music.
Yeah.
It's
music
like, that's not
licenses.
royalty-free music. You want Taylor Swift in here? Then
just add hundreds of thousands right there for that. And then you can't use the video forever. I like to make my business clients at least videos that they can use, for years to come.
Of course.
Versus with, if you get Taylor Swift song, you're not getting it forever. You're getting a year license.
You're getting
or maybe
the
2-year
license.
Yeah. And it's a challenge that that you like. I am the guy who's to kind of educate small businesses. But I love the response that I get though. The essentially the once they see the video. That's what I love, because my business has been entirely based on repeat business.
Yeah.
I don't know how people could keep getting new businesses every month. I'm talking 10s and 20 and 30 businesses. I don't think it's sustainable. I entirely rely on doing such a good job. They come back. Yeah.
You are a partner.
Yeah. And it's okay. Some businesses are where you do a few videos and that's all they need. Then I use them as more referral partners. They can then find me other people that, that they know who need video, and then they can recommend me because they loved what we did for them. I'm not trying to just go every day, burn bridges, and find new clients, and then to find more new clients.
Yeah.
That just seems unsustainable to me.
Yeah. Oh, of course. That's why the advantage of collaboration to the point of being a partner. You just said it a few minutes ago. It's like we really got to learn what they need and listen and learn what they need, because if we do, then it becomes when they work with us in the future, you know what I want, right? And it's like, I don't have to go searching around for other people. I don't even have to have a long conversation with you because I'm really busy. Yeah. And I love you, but you know what I want, right? Right? It's like exactly. We get that where it's like just this explicit trust that goes with the implicit trust. And it's just like, we've worked hard for that, and that's what we love, because year in and year out, or a new hire comes and they need headshots of that, and they're like, I got one new person, can you come out? Well, of course,
of course,
and they'll pay us good for it. And in the same way, they get special pricing, special everything.
Exactly. And then talk about that new client that we had, Mario, that we went and filmed recently, and it was our, it's uncommon, but it happens. I do get new clients, obviously, and it was so fun to go shoot. But what was interesting to me is before we were even done shooting, the client was already talking about the next shoot. That's what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so it was so cool that before, it's one thing to wrap up and clients impress. before we were like done through like 5 script or whatever, the client said, next time you gotta do this, and and I'm like, that's amazing. That's what you
You're
want.
already like envisioning
Yeah.
how to keep taking it to the next level.
Exactly, and that means they see the value, and that's what I like giving my clients. I'm like, and it's really a challenge, but also the challenge I like with new clients because we're still figuring each other out, right?
Yes.
But it's so cool. And I was looking at Mario. I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. We do good for them. They already see the value that they haven't even seen the videos. We're still shooting right now, and he's already talking about the next shoot and the shoot after. And we got to do this in the next one, and that's the feeling. At least for me, is more rewarding. I do love doing big projects. I love working with big companies, but it's not that feeling. You don't get that feeling. But when we work with a small business who you help, it just, I don't know, it makes it worth what we do, right?
You said it earlier. We're helping, like a lot of times the smaller businesses don't know what they want. They don't know what well, they do, but they don't know, they can't get it into their head of exactly how it should look and how to tell that story visually. And it's like, then when we do, then it's like, oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. This is better than it's like, we really were able to capture just the heart of what they wanted to express.
And that's why it takes partnership, right? It takes that listen to get to the bottom of what they want, right?
It takes a lot of work up front. Like you're saying, it's like we want to see samples. We want to hear from them if they can explain it right. Site visit if required. I mean, there's a lot of work up front with the very first time. That's why when it happens again, it's like, well, all right, I kind of know what's coming. But that new client, very small business, for us and what we do, a lot of times it requires a lot more work, and they're thinking, "Oh, this is pretty easy. I only need a couple of pictures." Like when I hear, "Oh, only need a couple of pictures,"
you're like,
all right, we're gonna have to really talk about that.
Yeah, or I've had that happen where they're like, "You're only gonna be on site for 2 hours," and it's like, you're forgetting the day that it takes to charge and pack all this up, then the time it takes to dump all this footage, the time it takes to edit through, parse through all that footage, find music. Just finding music can take hours.
Oh,
like you got to talk to Julie about that. Like, thank goodness I don't do that. But sometimes, because to me, at least in video, music sets the tone of a video.
Oh,
right.
Gosh,
And the various events. Somewhere we're going for a serious tone or funny or energetic. But finding the right music, it sometimes takes hours, and clients are not seeing that. It's just 2 hours.
Biggest reason
set.
number 2, I don't want to do video. I mean, between
Yeah.
picking the music, the editing, there's so many layers that create a production of this storytelling
and that's why I'm
videos.
like, the only way I can do what I do at the level I do is because I surround myself with great people.
Yeah.
Like, could I edit? Yes. Could I shoot? But then it wouldn't be the best edit. It wouldn't be the best shoot. It wouldn't be the best anything. And by surrounding myself with people like Mario,
you got a
Julie,
great team with Julie
and
Mario,
it's basically what it does is it helps me get the vision right. Get sure that everything is going to be perfect when we show up to shoot. The shoot's going to go great, and then the edit's going to go great. That when the client gets a product, they go, "Oh wow, yeah, that's what we were looking for," or "This is better than what we're looking for." Like, one of the best things we did last year was we worked for this company, and the CEO, and I'm talking $1 billion company, he was like, "Hey, this is the best video I've ever seen of my company," and I'm like, that's what we were going for. Internally, to me, that's worth more than any award. I go, well, thank you.
Majorly.
And I'm like, awesome. Like, this is what we were going for. So I'm glad you see it.
That's why you do what you do.
Yeah, and they're happy. We're happy. Everyone wins, at the end.
Yeah.
A lot of people, got paid from that who was part of that project. So I was able to help my network. So I think overall, everyone won, and then the company was happy about it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about. It's just about making a product that that the client loves and that you love yourself.
Yeah, totally
Awesome.
agree with that.
All right, so let's switch gears. Let's talk about a little personal life. So I know a few years ago you've been full time, so you went out of the full time. Tell me more about that. Like, what happened, and
So
how did you come back?
I'll back up all the way to 2009, and when I moved to St. Pete, I moved to St. Pete, and I'm opening a studio in a completely new market. I know a few people that were key people that became part of my team from the beginning. So that's the biggest reason, is like you just said, having the right team helped me. But I'm opening a retail studio, portrait studio, right at the beginning of that Great Recession. So it's like I open it, and then everything just. But what happened with that time in the business is the business took off, And over that time,
Mm.
I was booming. And within 2.5 years of being there, I was top 10% of portrait photographers in the nation as far as revenues and everything. So I was really doing great.
Yeah.
So contrast that for a minute. So again, there was just doing really good for all these years, and then moved back, and things are going pretty well. And then COVID hits. And if you're into weddings and events and COVID hits,
It's all shut down. Yeah.
it's all gone, right? And it really hit me hard. It gutted my business, and I got 2 kids. One of them's a special needs kid. I mean, it was just a lot. And my wife's a speech therapist, and she was doing speech therapy, and all that face-to-face stopped, and it was school-based, and then schools shut down. So it was a combination of all the things COVID that all of us, when we hear that word, in some way, all of us have some PTSD, right? In some way. So it shut down my business. And to the point where I'm like, I gotta get other work. And I had already, before COVID, really admired the organization called Healthy West Orange, which is a local nonprofit in West Orange County. And they really are just having a mission to make that community the healthiest in the nation.
Yeah.
I
We
love the
filmed there,
mission.
by the way, me and Mario. Great place.
It's a great organization, right? And so even before COVID, I had approached them about, in some level, working with them. And or for them even. You know, I had worked with them, but even working for them.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and then I just fast-tracked that the best I could, and it happened to be they were building the new building. And so they hired me 3 or 4 months after that. But before they hired me, we hit rock bottom. Our lease for the house got, we had to move out. The lease was up in May of 2020. The shutdown in April. May, we had to move out.
Wow, during COVID, I can't imagine.
So we just hit up Airbnbs because we couldn't get another lease anywhere else.
Yeah.
It was just, there was nothing in Winter Garden. And so we hit up Airbnbs, and then we ran out of Airbnbs and had to get the kids back, and we were essentially homeless.
Wow.
Until West Orange Chamber stepped in, and Scott Ballou, Matthews Hope put us in. We were in homeless housing for Matthews Hope for 2 months until Healthy West Orange hired me and could get on our feet, get another rental house. So you think, okay, we're starting on the road back. Fast forward 1 year to September 2021, my wife turns mustard yellow. And we're like, what is going on? And then she's like, I got to call her mom, who's a nurse, comes over. You got to get her to the ER. Goes to the ER. It ends up her liver shutting down. And again, nutshell, liver shuts down. She's in the hospital for 10 days. My kids got COVID the exact same time. So I had to stay home quarantined with them with COVID while she's in the hospital, can't even see her. And then the doctor comes on after 2 or 3 days and says, I don't want to bring this up, but we're thinking we have to get her tested because she might have cancer. I'm like, what just happened? She goes in, and within just a few days, her liver's shutting down, and we're thinking, who knows? It's hopefully not too bad. To now you're going to have to go, extended stay. And then she goes and gets, tested and gets diagnosed with this deadly lymphoma, and is given less than a year to live. Is basically it.
Wow.
So we got that, and that was within a month. So we're just devastated by all this between the COVID year and the next year. And then, again, nutshell, it's this unbelievable story, really is that it was a misdiagnosis.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to out the hospital because it's like doctors they're human. It happens, right? And that she went to Moffitt Cancer Center, and then they're like, it's not this, it's a leukemia. Okay, so she's got a leukemia. So again, then another month goes by, back in there, and we go back to Moffitt, and it's like, there's no evidence of cancer in your body. The cancer's gone.
Wow.
What a roller coaster, right?
I mean, first time you told me the story, I was just like, I can't imagine being in your wife and your shoes, because obviously it's good. The outcome at the end is great.
We could talk about it now, and I won't cry like crazy, right?
But I can't imagine being in that situation where COVID caused, like you said, you were doing incredibly well, very successful photographer, and all of a sudden, all events are gone, all conferences are gone, everything's basically done. Schools are even remote.
Yeah.
So, and you thinking of Matthew's hope that you at least were able to find some help for the couple of months, but then that happens. Obviously, Healthy West Orange was able to get you a job. That was
good stability and a good organization.
And then to be hit with this news, I mean, I can't even imagine. And then obviously the roller coaster they went through
That's
for
crazy.
months, where they're like, "Oh, you have 1 year," and you're like, "What?"
That's so crazy. And then that it was a wrong diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then she gets this new diagnosis. She's settling into that and then gets offboarded. And then the next month, which you know personally this story, she's pregnant. So we end up having this bonus baby, right? And so it's like she goes, you get COVID, you got the cancer, and then you got the baby. And meanwhile, again, thank God for Healthy West Orange, just kind of keeping me in that stability and enjoying just pouring in with them, being on that team. And but then I worked another year where I would have gone back, but then the baby, the cancer and the baby. So worked another year Healthy West Orange, just staying in that. And then I was like, I can't anymore. Just resist, staying away from my passion anymore. Yeah. And then came back. But that's the blip. I mean, in any business we go, hopefully we don't have another COVID situation. But over the course of decades, especially, we're going to have dips in our businesses. Yeah. We can navigate through it or we can exit and come back. It just depends on everybody's situation.
Yeah.
The point is,
there's no way you could have predicted that. No. Nobody could have. And I mean, to be real, what helped me was live streaming, because it's not like we were going out and filming either.
There you go, yeah.
You had to pivot, and we were able to pivot into live streaming, and that helped a lot during that time. But you're right. Yeah, it was a crazy time. But my whole thing is like like you said, the roller coaster that you went through to get back, and now you're doing. Obviously, I remember having the talk with you when you were gonna jump right back, and I was like so happy. Things were back to normal for you, but like I said, at least you have you have a baby. Things are awesome now. You're back, to obviously doing photography, and you've been successful the last few years that you've been doing this. But I just can't imagine that little period. But again, to put a positive spin on it, it's just one of those blips. But
it's still real life stuff. Yeah, and it's like I look back and I'm like, did all that really happen? And I know, again, all of us have our COVID memories, right? Of, wait, was it really live streaming? It's like you see ourselves back kind of normal, but even how we've all just reinvented ourselves. It's like, how would I do this over? How would you do yours over if you could do it again, right? Yeah. Are you doing things different than before COVID to kind of keep that from happening to impact your business as much? Because I know going more corporate now. Yeah,
I mean, I got lucky. So I have one of those weird stories where, and I've told this story before on the podcast. But January of that year, again, when you're passionate, remember, it went from Binder Productions was born out of it being bigger than me. So it's I'm no longer a freelancer, right? So we did really good in 2019. So I was like, what are we going to do this year, right? 2020 starts. So January, I go, I'm going to get into live streaming. And she's like, what? This random thing. So I, buy, and obviously there's no mentor. There's no one to teach me. I'm in the middle of Alabama. So I basically just bought all this live streaming gear, and I just started practicing, and any free time I had. And guess what happens? April, the country shut down. So it kind of saved me essentially. That the pre-monitoring.
It's a good thing you thought about that.
Yeah. So while and obviously there was no equipment available, everything was sold out. Because everyone needed it. Point is that helped a lot, because I was like, not only do I have the equipment, I know how to operate it, and I know how to execute this thing. So that helped a lot, being able to do projects. Even during that environment. But like you said, that was two things. A, somehow getting lucky with the timing of that, but also B, having low overhead. I always made sure that the people that I worked with were 1099s, that, we have some recurring expenses, but they were project based, right? Yeah. That's why I say my expenses are very easy. Project comes in, this is what's going here, this is what's going here, this is what's going here, makes it very easy. I'm like, okay, 80% expenses, 20% coming home. Life is very easier to, I'm saying, make expenses happen, versus I can't imagine if I had that many people on W-2s, letting them go, the whole
furloughs.
The whole thing, that would have been crazy. But that was really nice that we were able to write that out. And obviously here we are. But the lessons learned, and that's why a lot of people ask me, they're like, why don't you go W-2s or whatever, even now? And I'm like, that's why. Because I learned my lesson already in COVID, that what I did was correct. Why would I change that? And funny enough, everyone I knew who was doing successful in video with W-2s, guess what they don't have now? W-2s. Because during COVID, they had to let them go. And then they realized, not that we don't give enough work, right? It's just, it's a lot easier to keep them as 1099, because then it makes sure they can also still freelance, get projects, but it makes it easy for me without having all that huge overhead, right? Because if projects for some reason will stop coming, yes, it would be devastating, but it wouldn't be the end of the world, because it's not like I have this huge payroll that I have to keep giving, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what a nightmare. I feel so much for the small businesses
Yeah.
that had just
Yeah,
3 or 4
restaurants especially, yeah.
employees, and it's like you feel so responsible.
Yeah.
So it's like it just
but
hit everybody.
we couldn't do it, especially the first. I think it eased up obviously once we all realized, because initially nobody knows what this is, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's like, just stay inside.
After a few months.
Yeah, it's like, what do we do? Like, where do we go? And then at least I was like, well, we're essential business, so we're gonna go at least do our work, But like, I can't imagine if you weren't considered essential workers. So if you had to just stay at home and do nothing,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can imagine. I'm saying
Yeah.
the trauma or whatever people went through. But like I said, at least we made it past, and seems like things have just been on the up and up for you now.
Yes.
Right? How long have it been that you've been back doing this full time now?
This will be, let's see, so that's August 2023. So now I'm about to 2 years.
2
Yep.
years. Wow.
Yep.
And see the progress you've made,
Yeah.
right?
And
you're doing incredibly well. Yeah.
There's like, all right, well, how's
Yeah.
it? So there's still this, right?
Yeah.
But it's becoming, there's way more of this, and then fewer dips.
But that happens to,
it's
I think,
like-
all businesses. I mean, this happened to me this year.
Yeah.
What's crazy is last year I had an incredible year, the best year ever. And then and January is supposed to be slow for us, right? And we were
January.
writing. January was crazy.
Biggest ever.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of January, I'm like, what's happening? We're so busy. And then come February, dead, for me at least.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not normal for me.
Weird.
And I'm like, what happened? And I think it may have been a combination of just the economy uncertainty, tariffs, or whatever. So February and March were really dead. And again, I don't want to say it was fully dead, but there was no big projects, right?
Yeah.
That's normal. And I was like, what's happening? So for a couple months, like you said, there was that dip where I'm like,
Yeah.
uncertainty. I was like, did I do it wrong? And then I asked, that's when you call your network, your relationship. I'm like,
Right.
so checking on buddies, they're like, yeah, it's been slow too. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense.
Mhm.
It's not
That's
just
what
me.
I've been doing this
It's
month.
happening, yeah. And then April 1st hit, back to it just being crazy. And I was like, okay, this is weird, but there's nothing you can do, right?
Yeah.
But what I liked was that in that slow period, I was able to go help small businesses, local businesses, stuff that I would normally have to either pass on or not personally be present.
Yep.
Where I was able to go and take those projects, and it wasn't bad, but it was a worrying time for a minute. I'm like, this is not normal. I'm not used to this since COVID, right?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, I think it was just the tariffs, the economy, people were just uncertain. All of a sudden, stop spending. But then back April, I haven't had, like I said, time since then, and it's been crazy. So as a business, we have to be resilient because blips will come. It is
Yes.
always going to be like this,
Mhm.
and you just have to be prepared for when that happens. I think those are the businesses that make it, right?
Yeah.
That can pass that whatever slump that is, and then
Yep.
because we all know economy always at least that's the history. It goes down.
Can't
it
comes that
up,
stuff.
Yeah. So all you can do is just be prepared and run your business smartly, especially until it's a small business. And that's all really you and I can do.
That's so true.
I don't know what else we could do essentially
Yeah.
to prepare.
Yeah, but if it gets slow, like this month has been slow for me, and so I've been taking care of those really great clients, like my 10-year-old daughter and I, and also bonding with my kids for summer at the same time. So my daughter and I get up early and we bake some cookies, and I'm like, let me just take some cookies to my best clients, like the bank branches and things, where I'm like, we're dropping off cookies, and I'm like, my daughter and I bake these for your whole team, and you just see their faces light up. I'm like, in busy season, I would never have time to just do that nice little special touch,
But I think that special touch is what's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Now they're gonna remember whenever they need the next
Guy
photos.
brought us fresh cookies.
Yeah, you cannot.
And it was one of the bank branches, is a West Orange Chamber partner, and they were having a bad day. And she comes up to me and she's like, before I even gave it, she's like, oh, we're down 3 people. And I was like, I have cookies.
Yeah.
Should have seen it.
Yeah.
It was so perfect.
Yeah.
I felt so good walking out of there because I'm like, I just helped them it was kind of a rough day, and I just helped make that. It's just cookies.
Yeah, and it's
You know?
simple things. Sometimes I'll
Just
send like
thoughtfulness.
a thank you card. It's nothing major. It doesn't have to be crazy.
just
It's
thoughtfulness.
just simple things like that. And then and believe it or not, one crazy thing. Talk about again COVID for a second again. I still remember, Julie's the editor, literally going like, okay, so it's slow time, right? So we have some time from editing because live streaming doesn't require editing.
Yeah.
I literally told her normally, there's cost to it, but I was like, you know what? We're going through. So our clients going through, pull up their footage and see if we can make a short little snippet video they can post or whatever. So we did that for a lot of our clients. We were able to just pull some footage, make a little snippet, and give them like, hey, we know you're going through a tough time. Here's a little extra to post on your social or whatever. And I think it's just that little thing, right? Where if we have the time, we have the capacity to do that, and COVID was definitely that. Do that a little extra. And I think that's just like you said, that's what builds promoters, that builds loyal clients, that builds people who just love you, and it's a real relationship. It's not just give and take. There's more to it.
Yeah, and it shows you care about them. You're not just wanting their money from being a client, right?
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way, because for us, it also tells ourselves that same thing. Like, I really do care about this person or business and want them to feel special.
Yeah, and coming to that, the one last thing I want to say about this is, yes, the other side, I do want people to aware, because some people take this a little too much. You are still a business at the end of it, like as in, I'm gonna do anything and everything to help my client. But if I can't, then I think being honest and upfront is also more than just taking it on. Because I've heard stories from my friends where they go, but I love them, and then you take on a project, let's say under budget or whatever, and then what ends up happening is that even though you think you're doing the nice thing, you actually suffer, because now you hate yourself and you're there, you're miserable. That means they feel it. It's just not a good thing. A simple just, hey, this is not the right budget right now, or this is not the right fit. Let's do it later when you have more budget, or here's a friend I can click into here, whatever, at this budget right now, and then we can do the bigger stuff later. Something like that. I feel like that's a better fit and a better approach than just saying flat out yes. So again, listen, take care of your clients, but also don't say yes if your heart's not in it.
No, that's such
I feel
a good
like that's
word.
gonna just also not be a good thing, because it's okay to say no. Because we are a business at the end of the day. We have bills to pay. You got family to take care of. And clients understand that. So it's okay to say no. But I think outside of that, it's been an incredible conversation. I look at the time, can't believe it's almost 2 hours. I know.
That's good stuff.
This goes by so fast. People when they think about it, they're like, 2 hours? I'm like, yeah. And then when they're done, they're like, oh, it was fast, because I've listened to Joe Rogan podcast for 3 hours with some guests. So I think it's just all about who the listener is, right? If they have no interest in photography, videography, it's probably boring. But if it is, then I think this is an incredible conversation. So what do you think?
We're in the car a lot.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I'm always listening to podcasts too, just like this.
Yeah, and this is exactly
so
what I
many
love.
different photography podcasts I listen to, and just could listen over and over.
Yeah, and I love giving people real world advice, because some old school people I find like want to gatekeep, and I feel like that's just a bad strategy in business. Because gatekeeping leads to nothing. So I feel like being upfront, giving people some reference points of price points and type of clients and what events you can do or stuff like that is just so much more realistic, where they're like, okay, this is realistic. This isn't some idea that you have in your head. Okay, this is what I can go, I can charge, I can ask. I don't know. It's just helpful when you're new.
It's real. It's real stories of how we do business.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I've enjoyed about this
Awesome.
conversation.
So,
hopefully people get a lot of benefit from it.
Same too. And if not, at least entertainment, right?
There's plenty of that.
Yeah. So thank you, Jason, for coming. Before we go, anything else you want to add? You want to tell people where to go find you? Go ahead and tell us that.
Well, my website is canonfirephoto.com, and Facebook's Canonfire Photo, Insta Canonfire Photo, but and LinkedIn, same Canonfire Photo. That's where to find us on social. And
so is that Canonfire Photo?
Canonfire Photo, and that's with 2 N's, CANN, not the Canon camera. Yeah, and that's
his actual name. I was just joking.
Yeah.
You're actually Canon. You're Jason Cannon.
My last name is Cannon.
Yeah, with 2 N's though, right?
2 N's, right? But yeah, that's where to find us. And we're always posting blog content as well, and I also am really thinking about making a Facebook group. I have one right now that is really more it's not structured the way that I really want it. So stay tuned on our website, because I'll probably blog about it when I create this Facebook group. To do kind of something like this, but more in a Facebook group where it's really open of discussion with the photographer, and put myself available with Q&As and things. So that's coming soon. And we've talked about this a little bit.
awesome. That sounds like
Education
an
on there.
incredible idea.
It's
Yeah,
totally free.
Yeah,
You know, just to
and
really
and
just
same
be
thing.
there.
This is quite literally unedited, unfiltered conversations that I wanted because I didn't want a polished look into something. This is
Yeah.
quite literally two industry professionals having a conversation. That's what I like listening to because, like you said,
Yeah,
it's
same.
real. No, I have no agenda. You don't sell no courses, right?
No.
We're just doing
No,
this
no.
because we love what
That's
we
right.
do,
Yeah.
and we actually do this for a living. So this is awesome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you again, Jason. For
Thank
coming.
you.
Until next time.